after death, and karma of the steps shared with those of lesser scope is refuge. You're going for help. What's going to save me? What's going to help me? And in Buddhist refuge, there's all kinds of refuge. When your house is burning, you go for refuge to the fire department, right? You call the fire department. They could help you maybe. They say you go for refuge out of fear and faith. Fear like, well, if I don't call somebody, my house is going to burn down. Faith, well, maybe the fire department can help you. See? So we're going for refuge all the time. Buddhist refuge means you go for refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which is kind of a long story that we're not going to go into tonight. But you think that that what those objects mean, what those objects really are, can help you. And so, what's the definition of refuge? A state of mind, here's the answer to the question. A state of mind which of your own accord you put all your hopes in some other object to be of assistance to. And we all go for, if you're doing these steps shared with those of lesser scope, you're going for refuge. I need some help. I need some help. And here's one way to think about what real refuge, what could really help you, is thinking about karma. Thinking about karma is a refuge. Understanding the laws of karma. Let's review what they are, shall we? What's the first law of karma? Definite. Definite means if you do something kind for someone else, a good result will come to you. If you do something mean and harmful to someone else, a bad result will definitely come to you. That's definite. So that's the first law of karma. It's the first law of every moral system. If you don't have that law, then you don't have a moral system. You have like some haphazard slapdash. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I'll be nice if it works out. If it doesn't work out, I won't. See, it's definite. And so you take refuge in that fact. That if I'm unkind to somebody, if somebody's in my face and I'm unkind to them, I will suffer for it. You see, that's refuge. That's help. That's safety. That's like, well, that's going to keep me safe. From what? From my own suffering. From my own slashing myself up with razor blades. Every time we're unkind to someone else, we're slashing ourselves up with razor blades. And we don't think that way because we haven't really taken refuge. Refuge means you go for help to something, to a law. In this case, it means go for help in a law. If I am unkind to others, I will personally suffer. And I don't want to suffer. What's the second law? It grows. Karma grows. If you do even little negative acts towards other people, it could result in a big tragedy for you. Conversely, if you do even little nice things for other people, you could get life like this maybe. If it grew enough. You see? So don't eschew little acts of kindness. What's that that bumper sticker? Random acts of kindness and goofy acts of beauty or whatever that is. Third law, what? You can't receive an effect if you haven't put the cause into play. So this is I think this is the anti-whining law of karma. If you don't have enough money, it just means you haven't put the cause into play. So don't whine about it. It's like, just start putting the cause into play. You can't have an effect without a cause. If you don't have money, it's obvious that you haven't done what? Created the cause for money. I said, well, how did this happen? I don't have any money. Well, it's a little law number 3. So law number 4 is what? Yeah. If you have created the cause, then you can count on it. If you've been generous to other people, you can count on having the money come. Don't worry. Be happy. Jesus said that kind of thing, right? It's like, if you're creating you shall reap what you sow. If you're creating the causes for things, don't worry. Do the birds worry about how they're going to be clothed, right? That's that old saying, right? If you're living a good life, you have nothing to worry about in the future. If you have any belief in karma, see, and that's right. That's going for refuge. It's like remembering, what semblance of a belief you actually have in karma before you throw it out the window and say some nasty thing to somebody else. So you can test it. If we really believed in karma, we would never do anything negative to anyone else, ever. Ever. See, because we would just know it's just suicidal. Why would we ever do that? We're supposed to want to be happy and avoid pain. We do want to be happy and avoid pain. But our ignorance and our forgetfulness and what we call mental afflictions in general take us over. And we lose it. We lose our rationality. So you can think about this. A spiritual life is a rational life. Spiritual life has nothing to do with blind faith. Spiritual life has, in fact, it's the opposite. It's like taking control of yourself. A spiritual life is taking control of yourself over the forces of evil. Where are they? Inside of you. You say, no, he made me angry. Well, yeah, made you angry. So what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to slash myself up with my rage blade. See, this makes no sense whatsoever. He made me angry, so I'm going to slash myself up. I'm going to create causes for my own suffering by yelling back. It's completely irrational. From the point of view of karma, it's completely irrational. And if it's not from the point of view of karma, then you're living in a meaningless universe. You're living in a universe where anything could happen for any reason at all. There's no relationship between cause and effect at all. You can do nice things and you'll never get a reward. You can do bad things, you'll never get a punishment, or maybe you will, or maybe you won't. It's just random. So you got kind of a fork in the road here. You got a fork in the road. Do you believe it or don't you? And most of us are living like we don't, actually. Almost all the time. We don't really believe it. So no, they said something about my mother. See? Well, it totally doesn't matter. When it comes to slashing the wrist, it doesn't matter what anybody said. Why would you ever want to slash your wrist?
How does karma come into play when you're doing something for the selfish motivation of hoping to attain good karma?
That's a better selfish motivation than most other selfish motivations. As far as selfish motivations go, that's a good one.
That's a good.
And that one will eventually get you to the place where you can do things without a selfish motivation at all. But until then, you've got to follow your selfish motivation. Enlightened self-interest. Enlightened self-interest.